Now we think about not only how our identities interact with each other and shape our interactions, but also the idea of perceived identity. So we think about how we see ourselves, and we try sometimes to project a perception of who we are to others. We have no idea how they perceive us, but our perceived identity impacts how we interact with others. So, for example, as a person who has light skin and light eyes, when I do outreach medicine in inner city areas, and I'm the only person with light skin and light eyes in the clinic, suddenly, as the minority, I wonder if the person sitting across from me can trust me. And so sometimes I go out of my way to try to establish trust with that person. And is it necessary? I don't know, but it's the perception that I believe they see me as. And that can be all the time. And we wonder all the time about how people see us and if they're going to accept us and what we can say, like, am I being funny? Am I being boring? And then we have to think about how this perception of identity changes our roles in interactions. Whose job is it to speak first? Who's supposed to ask questions? This is all based on our understanding of how someone else sees us. So we can ask ourselves, what might be my perceived identity? And then also we can ask, what reaction might my identity elicit in this person? And then that might help us to have more curiosity. We'll talk a little bit more about curiosity in a moment. One thing that we can do is we can look through the lens of identity. So sometimes we can think about a situation through a root or a frame, and that helps us to respond in a way that makes more sense and is less affected by some of our identity features. So for me, sometimes to help with my perceived identity, I might use a root that starts with "for my identity as." So for example, as an educator, I might say something when I'm watching someone struggle and a friend trying to help another learner. I might say, for my identity as an educator, I can see the value in allowing the intern struggle a little bit. And that's helping the person who is distressed to understand that I'm not just, a mean person who delights in seeing someone struggle, that there is some identity that is getting behind me and my behavior. It helps to reduce the idea of assumptions.